I've actually never dated a black guy. Actually, well, no, I did
Really?
once. I was
Oh,
12. I was 12. That was it. That
that
was
don't count.
it.
That don't count. Welcome back to What's Up With You, everybody. Tonight, we got my homegirl, Mary. And Mary is interested in discussing the pros and cons of interracial marriages and finding herself authentically after living in a rural area. That sound about right?
Yeah.
And she has a podcast.
Yes.
And I don't want to know I think it's the Fearless Mom Tribe podcast.
Yep.
And normally what I do is I have it written down on my vanity
Mm.
and I read, but that was one of the things I forgot to do. So forgive me.
Oh, it's all good. It's all good. It happens.
It does. So cool. We don't know each other. This is the first time we're actually having a conversation.
Yep.
So it should be interesting. But I always start off every show with a very basic question.
Okay.
What's up with you?
I am good, living life, just being a mom, a wife, and, building my business from the ground up right now. So it's been all good.
That's what's up. I'm sure motherhood's a beautiful thing, right?
It has its moments. It's worth it. Nah, it's worth it.
What's
It's worth
the Kanye album, my dark, twisted, beautiful fantasy? It was one of them joys. It's like that.
it. Yeah, it's literally like that.
All right, cool. So let's just jump right into it.
All right.
Interracial marriages, right?
Yep.
I think it's fair for me to assume that you're in an interracial marriage, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so just in general, like, how did that come about?
Well, I've always dated outside my race ever since I was 15. So
Okay.
it's always been a thing. I've actually never dated a black guy. Actually, well, no, I did
Really?
once. I was
Okay.
12. I was 12. That was it. That
That
was
don't
it.
count. That don't count.
Okay, it don't count. Well, then no, he was biracial. Never mind. That don't count either.
Okay. Okay. So has everyone you've dated been white guys, or have you dated just other races of guys?
Most have been white, but I've
Okay.
actually had Hispanic before, and then of course my homie now, we used to date, but it didn't work out for like 2 months. So, but he's half black, half white, so that kind of
Okay.
counts, but it don't count. Halfway.
Okay. So are you, or did you grow up, or are you in an area where it's not a lot of black people? Is that it?
No,
Or
I have nothing but black folks all around me. It's just my family, my parents, they actually has raised us into church to love everybody and anybody that we, came across. So it didn't matter if we were dating outside of our race or with someone. But if you talk to them before that,
Mhm.
they told you better not bring up no white babies, nothing up in our house. They didn't play
Really?
that. Oh yeah, they didn't play that. But ironically, my big sister, my oldest sister, started dating outside her race. And
Mhm.
then my other sisters pretty much did the same thing. And then I did. So I'm not the first. I will say.
Okay, so
I'm not
you
the
didn't have you didn't have to break the mold. You just kind of you were able to
No.
just
But my parents sure was hoping that I would have dated and married a black man. I will tell
oh,
you that.
okay, cool. You cool with taking any question? You cool with taking questions from the audience?
Any question?
Okay,
I
so
love.
yeah,
I might have
yeah,
to.
yeah. Oh, it's all good. It's all good. My audience, they typically end up getting on here and they have questions, so I try to make sure that I get them in there.
Yeah.
I am wondering, how is it that you've never dated a black guy? Like, do you not find black guys attractive or interesting, or you just never it never manifested itself?
I just never manifested actually. It's just always I was always just dating outside my race. Really, I just thought of that. I always had black friends though,
Mm-hmm.
all that good stuff. But it's just dating wise, I know. Yeah, my parents still ask me. They're like, "So why didn't you date black guys?" I was like, "Mom, I don't know. I still can't tell you." It's not the fact that I don't see him unattractive or anything. I don't mind. You will always can find a decent black man, smart, that goes to college and all of that, because I've seen it all, but it's just I don't know. I just always dated outside my race.
That's interesting. Okay, I got this little question thing
Yeah, go
down here.
ahead.
So I'm gonna see what that's about. That doesn't happen. It happened one other time, and I was like, okay, well, what's going on? So let's hope for the best here for a second, because I haven't even got my line of questioning yet. So hold on, let's see
Nope,
what we
you're
got.
good.
Crew lover says, why do you believe you have dated only non-black men?
Why do I believe?
Yeah, why do you? The question is, why do you believe you have dated only non-black men? So I guess the question is, why do you think that is?
Oh, why do I? That's the same thing like my parents said. I still don't know. It's just I've always attracted myself to someone. I guess I guess my standards has
Mm-hmm.
attracted more people that were non-black, I guess you
Mm-hmm.
could say. I've always been a loner anyway. So I was always quiet, all of that. I was always in my books. I always went to work. All of that. I never really had black guys approach me, but I
Okay.
also didn't approach just guys in general. So whoever approached me and I find you attractive, that's who I'm going with. And mainly most of them were non-black. So
Okay. So you never really got approached by black guys.
no.
My man DJ Shane 202 said love is love. Crew lover and Monty P say that's interesting, very interesting. And shout out to Miss Greg to you. She said, Marcello, I've been following you since the real. Keep up the good work. I was on the real. We'll talk about that another time when you can ask me that.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. So crew lover, I see you. How do you feel when black people or you hear black people say that blacks should only marry blacks?
I actually don't get offended. I understand why, especially
Mm-hmm.
coming from a pro-black family, especially when my parents was born and raised in the 60s. I understand why. But it don't bother me none because it's just a thing. I love who I love. I will never bash my culture, my
Mm-hmm.
race, just because I'm with a white man. I will
Mm-hmm.
always remember who I am. And my
Mm-hmm.
daughter. My daughter will always be black in a white man's eyes because of her hair, because of who her mom is, because of the culture that she raised up on. But,
Mm-hmm.
it's just I it don't bother me none one bit.
Okay. So Crew Lover says, are black men not up to the standard, up to your standards?
I don't actually care. It's just they never approach me. So I guess my standards ain't for them, really, for the
Mm.
ones that don't
You're saying
approach.
you don't, you're saying from it sounds like you're saying from your experiences, you're not up to their standards. They never approach you, so you just
That's how I feel, I guess.
okay, okay.
if they if,
Cool.
if a person actually approached me, a black man actually approached me before when I was single, and if we actually mingled and we actually got along together, heck yeah, I will probably be married to that person. But I've never had someone approach me ever. I never had a black man approach me. So I
If I
wouldn't.
can ask, if I can ask, where you from?
I am from Des Moines, Iowa.
Oh, okay. It's a lot of black people in Iowa. I didn't
Yeah.
know that. For real. How did that happen? I didn't get out there.
There's a lot, sir. Lots. I can tell you exactly where in Iowa. We got Davenport, we got Waterloo, we got Des Moines, we got even the Quad Cities that is right close to Iowa. We got all of them, and then we got a lot of Shout out to Chicago because I got a lot of family in Chicago. A lot of Chicago people come in to Iowa and live here. So it's
Mm-hmm.
been diverse for years and years, and it's still getting there too. So, oh yeah,
Okay.
we got a lot.
Okay. Okay. So is race a common discussion in your household?
Yeah, always
Oh,
been.
real. Okay.
Always.
Tell me what you're willing to. Tell me how those conversations go.
Um, like in what sense? Like what topic of race are you thinking? Like interracial marriage or like racism, prejudice? We've talked about it all in our family
I
because
don't I don't mean it specifically. I just mean, and I'm just curious in general. Like, and I had this question for later, but I'll ask it now. Like,
yeah.
in my mind, an interracial couple, black and white,
Hmm.
when discussion about race, there would be, for the most part, it would be the black person expressing to the white person what it is to be black. So, is there a lot of that, or
Yes.
when y'all
Always.
have those?
Always.
Okay,
Always. And especially being in a real small town right now. That is all
yeah,
that is right now. And I'm gonna tell you something. That's about to change next year because I ain't being here any longer than what I am. I'm telling you that
you.
now. Oh yeah, I'm moving. I've been here for almost 7 years. I'm moving.
Oh,
Mm-mm.
okay. So what's it about the small town that you live in now that
That I'm moving. Well,
yeah.
from the mindset that I had at 18, I was ready just to leave my family. Just try to break free. Be that independent. Trying to prove to my parents that I can go wherever I want and be able to strive and succeed in my life.
Mm-hmm.
So I moved to the small town that my husband was born and raised in. I've been here, but as I keep living, and now since I'm married, and now I got a daughter, and now since my employees know that I got a family, I'm
Mm-hmm.
starting to get all this racial tension more and more each and every day now.
Mm.
So I've dealt with all of that. I've never dealt with that before until they
Uh-huh.
start figuring out, okay, she has a white husband. She gets along with him very greatly. By the way, me and my husband work side by side at the same job and in the same department. So we work together. They don't like that. They're not used to that. And so now it's getting worse day by day because they don't have nothing smart to say. They don't have nothing bad to say about me and my husband because when we come to
Mm-hmm.
work and then we go home. We don't sit around and gossip about nobody. We don't talk about who said, she said, and whatever anyone said about anything. We're quiet. We come to work, we say hi and bye, and we leave. They don't like that.
What do you think it is that they're looking for?
They try to look for if a lot of employers don't like married couples working side by side because they think it's a favoritism thing, or there is a lot of flirtation going on and distraction from the work spot and not getting all the production or whatever it may be done.
Mm-hmm.
But when me and my husband get stuff done, we are done like hours before our shift is over. I work at a battery factory, so we pull down batteries and things like that for the lines to get shipped out. We'll have a
Mm-hmm.
certain amount to get down. We'll have the whole area full, so we'll be able to just talk and but still do our work. They don't like that.
Mm. Okay. Question from the audience.
Yeah.
Uh, do you think your spouse understands you as a black woman?
Does my spouse understands me as a black woman? Yes and no. And I'm gonna tell you why. He understands the situations from the outside looking in, from all the, racial tension that he sees what people do to me or say to me or that slick stuff that goes on.
Mm-hmm.
But he will never understand as a black person or as a woman in general of being in a factory of why certain people do what they do to me. So like my crew lead, we don't have supervisors, we have crew leads.
Mm-hmm.
They will literally go to my husband before they go to me. So that is two things. I feel that it's because, for one, I'm black, and two, I'm a
Mm-hmm.
woman. So as a man, certain men don't like giving women certain tasks or telling them what to do necessarily, unless if it's
Mm-hmm.
like something simple, because in their minds, black women are illiterate or ignorant to the fact of something, and they don't know how to do a certain task where they're from.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
that's how I feel. And I've tested that theory out before.
Okay.
I'm like, okay, well, I would get close somewhere. My supervisor would literally look at me as he walking back, trying to go get my husband, 20 to almost 100 feet away, waiting for him. But he could have literally gave me the same notification of whatever task to do, because me and
Mm-hmm.
him are both working together regardless. So I will relate the message to him. So it ain't gonna matter. But he will literally walk past me every time, every time, every time.
So do you think that I got you on CP? I see your question. Um, do you think that's intentional in terms of she's a black woman, so she's not worthy of me telling her this, or do you think it's a she's a black woman, I'm uncomfortable, so I'm just gonna go talk to somebody that I'm more comfortable talking to?
That's a good question. Honestly, it could be both,
Mm-hmm.
but I can't even really depict the difference. I'm not even gonna lie to you. It could be either one, but I strongly feel, since I've been here for almost 4 years,
Uh,
he's known me for that long. Like,
right.
so when you get used to someone, you know their mannerisms, you know what they do. So you
Yeah.
should be able to get used to talking to them. And I'm a friendly person. I am nice, I'm outgoing, I'm very polite.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm easily, approachable. So there shouldn't be a problem. But
Right.
I feel it's the first one, really, because at this point, you could easily be able to approach me a long time ago.
Okay, I got you. I got you. Monty P has two questions. The first one is, how do you feel about the black family unit?
Black family unit, like pro black, like all of us. I love
Okay. I'm
it.
sure Monty P is gonna have a follow-up question. So Monty P, if you want a more in-depth answer, you're gonna have to ask it in a more in-depth way. The other question that she has is, how does that make you feel when white people treat you that way?
How did I'm furious, actually. I'm very furious, but at the same time, it doesn't surprise me. And the reason why I say that is because my mom has taught us about race since we were 9 years old. So they
Okay.
tell us to look out for these signs, these things that they say to you, these slick, secretive things. Though, I prefer a open racist person to let me know that they don't like me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, me
Don't
too.
don't be nicey nice with me,
Yeah.
friendly friend with me for about a couple months, and then after that you switch. And
Yeah.
that's a lot of those people that I work with now. And now I understand what my mom was saying and what my dad was saying, when you got to be careful with the ones that are very secretive, because they will
Mm-hmm.
be nice to you real quick, but they will try to throw you under the bus as fast as they try to become friends with you. And as I first started my job, I was fine, but then after they found out I started getting after they found out I was pregnant, that's
Mm-hmm.
when everything went downhill. That's when they told me, well, you're using your pregnancy as a crutch, and I shouldn't have to do double work than you for you because you are on restrictions and this and that. I'm like, look, this is my first baby. I'm tiny, and who knows if I can have a miscarriage. I'm lifting and pushing average 45 to 50-pound batteries, car batteries, plus bus batteries, golf cart batteries, all types. I'm saying, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys? I cut
You,
out a little bit. I'm
you cut out, but you only cut out for a half a second, so you good. You can
okay.
keep going.
Good. Awesome. Sorry. I thought I hooked up my phone. I guess I didn't. I was getting too hyped. Um,
Oh, look, this show, I'm just the host. You know what I'm saying?
but you know, like I said, I don't expect, you know, for a lot of white people to be nice to me because that's all I hung around with or that's what I dated. You know, I know what to expect. And I still keep those things in my mind as I approach different white people in my community, in my workspace, in wherever, you know. So that's, yeah, it makes me furious, but at the same time, it does not surprise me.
Okay. Another question from the audience that I think is good. Crew Lover says, what separates your husband from the type of white people like the ones you are speaking about at your workplace? What makes him different?
The difference is, and that's a good question. I love the fact that they asked that. So
Mm-hmm.
one of the methods my parents has always told us when we date outside of race, especially a white family, they don't care about the people that you date. They don't care about the parents that you meet. It is more of can they grandparents accept you? Can
Okay.
their grandparents accept your babies? Because they are the lineage, they are the start lineage of the whole racial deal. So as
Mm-hmm.
I came into my husband's family, his grandmother was able, she loved me off the bat. There was no racist bone in her body. She loves people for who they are. Um, and I'm not saying that when you're in church, you know, all is forgiven and you're not racist no more. No, there's still racist folks in the church. Let me don't get it twisted because I've seen that. I've seen that. But she has told people, many people, you know, I always want to be a missionary. And she has accepted me for who I am as a person. She even helped me when I first moved up here. It was very hard for me to get a job here. It took me almost a year to get a job here. She was able
Wow.
to help me get my first job, was able to watch my baby, and she loved, rest her soul, she just passed away a month ago. Um,
Mm, I'm sorry to hear
she,
that.
thank you. She loved our daughter. She always looks forward to my family. My family met her. Like I said, my parents were deep into church, so they can sense another spiritual being. And they
Mm,
said that they absolutely love her. And they talk to her all day,
mm.
every day. And so that's one of the things my parents made sure of. Can the grandparents accept for who you are for the family? And if you have children, how are they going to treat your children? So his
Mm.
family, from them, there hasn't been no racial tension, period. I haven't felt none of that.
Yeah, because when you get married, you marry in the family. So it's not
It's
just the
not just
person.
him. It's not just
Like,
them. It's the
married,
whole family.
they're fighting for your life if they don't like you.
No, for real.
So, True Lover said, my condolences.
Thank you.
Um, Let me ask you this.
Yes.
Um, I got a couple white friends that I'm really close with that I would I would ride for,
Right.
but I've never lived with a white person, right?
Hmm.
So are the cultural differences between blacks and whites as vast as some of us believe they are?
Yeah and no, but mainly yeah. Um,
Okay.
and what I mean by that is certain white folks are very open. And what I mean by that is they can just walk into your house without notifying you, without knocking on the door. That's what they do. Yeah. You see how you looking at me?
What?
Yeah. That's what they do. That's what they do. Now, I told my mom that. I was like, she's like, yeah, that's what they do. I was like, you couldn't tell me that? She's like, I just let you learn about that. Yeah. Certain white people are very they don't care, I guess you can say.
Mm-hmm.
They just come in, or they will approach the house without letting you know. I had to deal with some of that. And then I told my mom about that, and she's like, okay, you need to nip that in the bud real quick, because then there's going to be some arguments. There's going to be some things being said, thrown around, and you don't want that. So I've learned that. Um, that's one culture shock thing I've learned.
Okay.
Another, I think that's the biggest one. Everything else, like music wise, he's very open to music. He knows a lot of old R&B, and like he literally knows the Temptations and all that. So music ain't a thing. He's very soulful, but it's like the manners, the nullifying, the things that we were brought up on. You better call
Mhm.
me before you can get to my house, so I know, so I can prepare. I've
Right.
let him know multiple times. Don't just bring people up in our house when our house looks a hot mess like this. Or if I look a hot mess, don't play with me. I don't
You
play
sound
that.
like
No, for real. I want to look presentable. I want my house to be presentable because we representing who we are. I don't play that.
right. I
But
think
my
that,
parents raised us that way though.
so. Do you think that that is just the way they are, or do you think that's a disrespectful thing towards you? Like, do you think they go to other white people's houses just unannounced? Like that's just what they do?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
The certain ones that I know, that's what they do. They leave their house unlocked and be like, hey, just pop in. Like whenever I knock on their door, they be like, why are you knocking? Just open the
oh,
door. I'm like, look at here. Um, as a black woman, as a person that's black, we don't do that. We knock. We wait until someone says come in, or wait, or we wait until they open the door. They're like, why? I'm like, because that's what we do. that's, that's what we do. And another thing, I guess, also is cooking.
okay.
So I cook. I have whenever his family comes over, it's funny. They stare at me when I cook. I don't know why they stare at me.
They
I,
want
I think it's they really watching what I do, and I'm
they want
like,
to steal the recipe.
yeah, they really try. They tried. I have actually told someone like one of my recipes real quick, and they're like, I can't even make it. I was like, I know, I know you can't,
You
but
need
you can
to
keep trying.
find a little, black soul food joint or something out there.
Different.
Get
It's just it's
different.
different. But I guess you know when I cook, I'm just like my mom. I don't like nobody in my kitchen. Don't come
Mhm.
in trying to get nothing out the refrigerator. Don't be in my way. If you're gonna be in my way, you cook with me.
Right.
But if you're not gonna do that, go in the living room. Wait a minute until it's ready. So that's another thing that they didn't know, and I totally forgot. They think that's okay. They do quick things. We take our time with our stuff. So that's one of the things I've learned as well. And another thing, when I have friends over, they wonder why I'm not mingling with them or hanging out with them yet. I'm like, well, I'm cooking, until all the food's done. Then I'll talk to you and sit down and chill with you.
Right.
And they're not used to that. And then another thing is when after I cook, I make sure everybody else eat before I do, because I just can't eat first. It's just adrenaline thing. My adrenaline's going, and on top of that, that's disrespectful. We like to get everybody else first. So that's another culture shock that they didn't realize. They're like, why are
Mm.
you eating? I'm like, I'll eat when all y'all eat first. They're like, what if it's gone? Okay, I'll make a sandwich. That this stuff is for y'all. Don't worry about me.
Mm.
But
Uh,
that's some
that's
things I've noticed.
that's how my wife is. So my next question, crew lover asked it, I think too, but I'm gonna go ahead and ask it my way. Crew lover, if this is not what you meant, then just let me know and I'll scroll back up and read your question. And so, like I was saying, typically we would imagine that the black person in the couple is teaching the white person what is it like to be black. So
Right.
they may wonder, like, what aspects of being white has your husband brought to light that you had never thought of before? if anything?
Um, that's a good question. I really don't know. I never even really looked at it in depth like that. I actually never. I don't know. Oh, can
Hmm.
you go in a little bit more depth of what that question means so I can get a full understanding?
So
Like, give me an
so
example.
I'm trying to think of an example, but it's hard for me to do that, right? Because
You're
I'm a black,
right. I know.
so easier for me to. I think it. So what I'll do is like, okay, so um, this might be a terrible example, but I'll
It's
give
okay.
it a shot.
It's all good.
Typically, now I'm a cop, so when I get pulled over, I'm not as nervous as most black people. It
Right.
is bigger than that, but that's something that historically black people get pulled over and we be super nervous.
Right.
Um, it makes me wonder, like, if he, as a white guy, if you guys are having an open dialogue, and he's like, as a white dude who likes to hunt, police don't really like us either because we carry guns, and you like,
Mm.
shit, I'd be scared too. I never thought of it that way. So, but that's just an example. That's something that you would be like, I just figured y'all be like, oh, give me my ticket and I go on about my
Right.
business. So
Okay.
something.
I get it. Yep. Yep. So with my husband, believe it or not, even in this town that he was born and raised in, he actually has been pulled over by a cop multiple times just for walking home. Not
Okay.
jaywalking, not no illegal stuff, literally walking home with a friend. And this cop will like literally just harass him. And he's like, man, dude, what? He's like, I've never seen you before. Do you live here? He's like, man, I'm born and raised here. What you mean?
Right.
Like, yeah, like with who he is, yeah, cops actually harass him and his family multiple times before. And so far, I've been in their family for over 8 years. I haven't seen much or know anything of criminal wise of, how certain families, certain side of families, you don't want to mess with because of certain things they've done. His family, I've met all parts of his family, his aunts, his uncles, cousins, all of them. They are very nice, welcoming people. I've
Mm-hmm.
never seen a problem, but it just seems like people try to harass him. So like he can just walk one day and they will just pull him over and ask him like, what are you doing? He'd be like, I'm just walking home. Or at
Mm.
Walmart one day, and I really think it's because they know that I'm his wife.
Yeah, I was
um
that was that into that. Like, do they know that he's married to a black lady?
this is before he actually decided to date black girls.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is way before. But as we go to Walmart, so say I'm already like out of sight, plain sight, he'll ask for like to get Pokemon cards.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's like, hey, can I get, whatever? And they were like, okay. And so he'll grab it. And they would be like, well, are you going to pay for that? He'd be like, yeah, my family's over here. We're about to check out. They're like, oh, okay, well, let me hold on to it. So then when you're ready, we can check you out. Yeah, for some
Like, what
Pokemon.
was the item like on the shelf that I have access to? Like, that's not how I shop in Walmart.
No, for real. Like
And
it's some cardboard,
like,
cardboard with pictures on it.
mm,
Yeah, but I've actually had a incident where just today I went to Walmart and they see me every weekend and they know who my family is all the time. But for some reason, whenever we check out, so we got more self checkouts now. So they got people, you know, uh, watching the self checkouts or whatever. There
right.
won't be nobody, and I mean all the self checkouts are still full
Mm-hmm.
until I pull up. Then 4 or 5 of them come out the woodwork, and I'm like, okay, for real, for real.
Are they open? Are they like, do you need some help, man? You need
Yep.
help ring?
Yeah, there'll be women coming over trying to have conversations with me. They'd be like, "Oh, how old is your baby now? How are you? Oh, I like that. I used to get that before." I'm like, first of all, I don't want to talk today. I didn't have my coffee this morning. Don't play with me. I don't do it. They do
Y'all
it,
got
huh?
y'all got you a Starbucks girl? Y'all got Starbucks out there?
No. This
Y'all
small
ain't got no.
town, we ain't got no Star. We go 20 minutes out to go to Walmart. It's such a small town.
What's the population of the town? Do you know?
It grew. So about like maybe 15,000.
Oh,
That's
okay, yeah.
not
Oh.
maybe. Could be smaller
Mm,
than
okay. Let's talk about you and your husband, right? Crew love. Once again, I had that question lined up just in a different way. So if you want me to ask it your way, just let me know. He said he's supposed to move. My man DJ Shane 202 said, I'm sure the Walmart in Iowa is popping.
it is.
Um, are you your husband's first black girl? Monty P asked that. And my question was, what was it about your husband that made him the one?
Yes. To answer the first question, yes. I am his first black girlfriend, wife, and basically the mother to his child. I'm
Okay.
his first for everything. So he loves
Okay.
me dearly. And the answer to the second question is um there's many, not necessarily standards and boundaries that I have, but one of the things my parents has taught me is, when you look for someone or have someone that supposedly loves you, make sure they take care of you. Don't just go by off the words, but go off by the actions. If they prove to you that they love you, not just by saying they love you and that you're beautiful every day, but do they open up that door for you? Do they wait for you? Do they help you bring in groceries or have you sit down in the house while they bring in the groceries?
Mm-hmm.
My husband does all of that. He does it all. There was a time when we started dating and we barely knew each other, like for 4 months or whatever, starting out. And it was always him. He always knew how to save money. And he gave me $500 just to put in my savings account
Mm.
randomly. But he's like, he didn't just give me the money. He's like, I'm not just giving you money just to show you, or just to show you that I got money. I
Right.
want you to have this money to take care of your bills that you have, or to save up for college, or save up for whatever you want. I'm not just
Mm.
giving this to you as a materialistic thing. He's like, because money don't mean nothing to me. It's about time and love for the person. And ever since
Mm.
then, we've shown each other that love. We know how to work as a team because marriage is teamwork. My parents has taught me that. A lot of people nowadays think, well, the man goes to work, and they pay all the bills while the woman does, the house cleaning. I'm like, look, this is not 1920s. I get it. Kudos to all my stay-at-home moms and taking care of their children, schooling them and all of that. I love it. But at the same time, I've seen my mom and my dad struggle. I've seen them almost got their house taken away from them. I've seen
Mm.
them almost got their cars taken away from them. I've literally um been and witnessed, our furnace going out for a whole week, felt like a month, like in dead winter, where they
Mm.
didn't know how they're going to get that money. I've seen them do that, but I've also seen them work so hard. Both my parents, all the way up until I moved out, has always been full-time workers. So they have
Mm.
taught us, if you cannot have a marriage of teamwork, then it's not going to work.
Right.
So I guess, he has shown me that he's always there for me, and that we both are okay when certain things get rough, and we will always have each other. And within all the other guys I've dated, I'm not gonna lie to you, I've had one with no job. I had a job before he did. I took care of him. Never
Okay.
forget.
Yeah. We had to get rid of him. We had to get him out of there. He got to go.
I was 15, he was 17. I got a job at 15 years old. How are you
Right.
not have a job at 17 before me? And
Was
I
he in
got
high
one
school
before you. Was he in high school?
at the time? Yeah, 17. He was in school, right?
Yeah, for like 4 or 5 months, and then he dropped out. Didn't
Oh,
know
nah.
that until literally 3 years later. 3 years later, he
Mm.
dropped out. I was like, yo, I graduated. There was no excuse for you at all.
Mm.
So I took care of him, and I was like, not, never again. No.
Okay. Well, y'all make sure y'all show her husband some love in the comments for
Thank you
God and
guys.
because that's what we do as men, right?
Men in general, yes.
Men, right? So how did y'all meet?
Online. I love telling this story. Yes, sir.
Oh,
Everybody
real quick.
asks.
So my wife wants to know. Whenever my wife has a question, I have to ask it.
Of course.
If you don't mind sharing,
Mhm.
what's your age?
I'm 25.
25. Shout out to 25.
I'm just a baby, like everybody says. They're like, you're so young. I'm like, yeah. But my parents grew up fast, so they taught us these things that they've learned that they don't want us to go through. So, yeah.
Okay, how did you and your husband meet? Tell us the love story.
So, I was just randomly on just this dating site. I guess it's like a friend site, but it became a dating site. It's called Meet Me or whatever.
Okay.
And I was just, just talking to guys or whatever. Not many, but some. And then he just randomly actually approached me, and he's the one that sent me a message. And he's like, "Hey, how are you?" And my theory, you got to be careful when you go online, because you can't just talk to anybody because they're crazy and you can't meet anybody. So my theory is to know that you are a real person. For one, if you can call me so I can hear your voice. 2,
Mm-hmm.
if you can Zoom or Skype me so I can see you and I can match that voice with you. If you deny that and try to fight all over that, trying to beat me around the bush, it's not you. So I
Okay.
literally deny all that. But he gave me his number. We Skyped before. And then we'll just talk. Like, we did this whole thing, this game, like teenagers do, like a 20-question game or whatever. And he asked me about what's my favorite ice cream color, ice cream flavor. And I was like, I like vanilla. He's like, oh. I was like, what's yours? He's like, chocolate. I was like, that doesn't surprise me. And, whatever.
He
I
was
didn't mean
cool
to
with
say
it.
that. I didn't mean to say that.
He
I didn't mean to say. He's like, what do you mean? I was like, nothing. And he's like, well, he said something I don't remember anymore. But I told him my response to whatever he asked me. I was like, I would only, I think it was like if we went on a date or something. I was like, I will only go on a date with you if you ask me out. And I was just kidding. I didn't mean for him to even just do that. He was like, well, okay, will you be my girlfriend? I was like, we only been talking for a couple of days, right? He's like, yeah, and? I was like, okay. So we just kept talking and everything. And one day, we just decided to go. There's an amusement park called Adventureland in Altoona, Iowa. And it's a cool place to be and all that good stuff. I didn't tell my parents I was dating someone after my major breakup with the one that I told you that didn't have a job. So
Okay.
I didn't tell them till when he came to my porch saying that we're going out to Adventureland. I was like, yeah, this is my boyfriend. We're going to go out to a date. He's like, wait, what? And it was my dad that answered the door. And he was like, beforehand, he went back to the car or something. My husband's name's Justin. He went back to the car because his sister brought him up at the time because they were all going together. And my dad secretly asked me, he's like, you sure you want to go out on a date with him? He looks like a serial killer. I was like, you're mean. He's like, what? He looks. I was like, Dad, really? So ever since then, we start hanging out and everything, and we've hit it off. And he actually proved to my parents and me that long distance relationships can work. So he will come down every other weekend. The only times he won't would be wintertime.
Okay.
but he will call me all the time and all that good stuff. We'll Skype all the time, you know, whenever he had free time. And then we finally decided that I go up there for a weekend. My parents weren't going for that at all, but
Okay.
I begged them. So they're like, okay, you're grown. You can do whatever. I was like, don't put that as a reason. I'm just letting you know. So we went up there and I met his family. I got, you know, I got used to them a little bit too. And then he asked me one day, would you move in with me? I was like, yo, wait a minute. We only been together for like 8 months. Wait, hold up. He's like,
Mm-hmm.
honestly, if I can be real honest with you, he's like, when I first met you, well, he said, when I first talked to you, when I sent that message to you, I knew right away from your profile picture that you were the one. He's like, I don't know how. I still ask him these things, the same question every year. And he still can't tell me a definite answer. He's like, I
Yeah.
just felt it. He's like, I can't explain it. He was like, I just know that you are the one for me.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, if it was up to me, if it wasn't really weird, I would ask you to marry me right now. And I was like, yeah, let's not do that. How about
Yeah.
like, I'm still in high school right now. I haven't graduated yet. Let's wait. But after I graduated, I moved like 5-6 months later in September. My parents weren't happy, but they were still proud of me at the same time. It's like a bittersweet type thing.
Mm-hmm.
Then right before that, in August, he took me to Disney World. I've never been to
Okay.
Disney World. He took me to Disney World for the very first time and proposed to me.
Oh wow. That's
I said, yeah.
stuff of dreams, right? The Disney World
Yeah. I was like,
proposal.
why? And I had no clue. No clue. I thought we were just going to Disney World having fun. Okay. I didn't know that there was a ring involved. Okay. I didn't
Right.
even tell him that I want to get married. None of that. I never really spoke about that because I just felt like it will happen eventually, like in my late 20s, 30s, but I didn't expect it to be that soon.
Were you still
So
in high school at that point?
I graduated,
You had
but
just graduated.
I just graduated in May. Then in August we went. He proposed, but we dated in 2014 in July. So we've been together for a whole year. But that next
Okay.
month he proposed, and then the month after that I moved in.
So how long have you guys been married, and how long have you guys been together? What, about 7, 8 years altogether?
We've been together for going on 8 in July, and we've been married going on 5 in June.
Okay. Monty P wants to know how old is he in comparison? What's the age gap between y'all?
A year and a half. He's actually about to be 27 in April.
Okay.
Yep.
So y'all so you say about a year and a half.
Year and a half. I just turned 25 in November.
So check this out. My audience, we have different opinions on all different kinds of stuff,
Of
right?
course.
We all take care of one another. So what Crew Lover said, he said, we're trying to make sure this isn't an R. Kelly situation. So we try to make sure that Justin, as great of a guy as he is, because we will hop a flight to Iowa if we got to. We don't care about COVID regulation. We will be out there. We're like, Mary, you coming with us to DC?
Hey, I'm okay with that. At least I got people to literally back me up. Hey, my parents were like, same way. They were on board. My brothers, my sisters, they like, hey, if we got to go down together, we all going to go down to get you. I was like, all right,
Right.
that's fine. But no, it ain't no R. Kelly situation. All love here, all good. We have a daughter, 2 years
Yeah.
old. She's about to be 3 in June. We've had our ups and downs as married couple, but you know, we fought. We didn't fought through our differences, but we sat down and made sure before we lay our heads to rest to go to bed that
Mhm.
we talked it all out before we go to bed. We make that a actual ritual, a actual thing to do. every night. So
What's up? That's good. So you guys have really good communication.
yes, now
DJ Shane 202 said plus that Walmart and aisle is probably fire.
at midnight, at midnight, just go at midnight. You'll see every
Oh,
day.
that hours? Is it a 24-hour?
24 hours. We got
Y'all got this.
24 hours.
Y'all got this. Yeah.
Hey, hey, you got some folks there between 11 and 12 at night.
Mm-hmm.
Hot mess. Fire.
So, one of my questions was, will you teach your daughter to identify as black, white, or biracial? And you answered that already, which was black. We'll just talk about that. Talk about how it feels to have a biracial daughter that you pretty much, based on society, you have to be like, listen, you know, you're black.
That's a good question. I honestly, I know it's gonna be hard for my daughter because of the fact even though she is biracial, she's still gonna face both sides coming at her. You know what I'm saying? No matter what, there will be dark skin, and I'm dark skin. I love my dark skin folk. I love my light skinned black folks, you know, but some dark skinned girls are gonna come at her. Well, you think you're pretty because you light, and then you got some light skinned, you know, women jealous of her because of how her hair is, her color of her eyes is, how supposedly a perfect of whatever. And then you got the white side thinking, oh well, you know, you're black anyway because of your hair. You're not white, or you can portray more as white because of your light skin, and or you know all this stuff. But my mom has taught me, and my dad too, is that no matter what, when you have a biracial child, black and white, black and Mexican, black whatever, when there's black, that white man will always see you as black because of just because whether you are light skinned or not, they will know because of your hair. My daughter, she can't pass for white at all. She has none but thick curly hair, so it's like thick as mine but very tight curls. So she can't portray as white even if she tried. She can get a perm if she tries to, but I'm gonna beat her in the face if she tries to do that, because I'm gonna tell her, don't you ever get a perm in your hair. But I want to teach her that no matter what, you know, you are white and you are black. But her though, in society, no matter what, when the white man sees that black, that African American on your birth certificate or your job description, you will always be black to them, no matter what. And I want to let her know that, because, you know, you don't want to culture shock your child and think, oh, that you're going to be accepted regardless of the way you look. No, once they see that right there, you will forever be black in their eyes. That's that part about that. But I want to let her know, like, you are beautiful for who you are, regardless if you're black or white.
Right, the content of your character, right?
Yes, it's about, as long as your personality matches and you got your manners and you treat people the way you want to be treated, that's all that matters. Yes, you're going to get some ignorant folk. Yes, you will. But as a Christian woman, I'm very, very spiritual as well. You know, as God says, you know, you come as you are and you treat others the way you want to be treated. And so that's why I want to treat, and that's why I want to teach her.
Okay, cool. I respect that. You got a beautiful little girl. I think I only saw one picture of her, but I was like, man, she got a pretty little girl.
I have younger pictures of her. I don't have any recent ones. If you guys actually are on Facebook, it's Mary Westcott on there. I have plenty of pictures, like recent pictures of her now.
So I looked you up on Facebook, and I can't send you a friend request. So
we gotta get that changed.
Yeah. When we get off of this, you can look up Marcello Bradley, or I'll send you my page or whatever.
Okay.
One more question on the racial aspect of it. This is from Crew Lover. Some
Okay.
interracial couples struggled as racial tensions exploded over the last few years. How did you and your husband experience that in your household?
The racial tension. Well, that's a good question. Because we've taken it as a grain of salt in a way, but we've dealt with it so well that we actually totally forgot how we actually handled it. If that makes sense. Like, um, I have to look at her question again. I'm reading it right now because I'm trying to make sure I actually answer this very correctly. Um,
Yeah.
Racial
Like,
tension
how did
exploded over the last 4 years.
household in any way, shape, or fashion, even just in discussion or did it cause arguments? Did you guys have debate about it, or was it just like, man, they crazy, we good?
uh, yeah, we've actually never real it don't cause us to have arguments actually. So, oh, and she said like George Floyd. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He actually, believe it or not, and I've been around a lot of white people, and a lot, a lot of them. He's actually very open minded about the Black culture, and
Mm-hmm.
he understands what goes on, and he feels for us. So not just saying like, oh, I go for Black Lives Matter because I got a Black wife and I got a Black daughter. No, he says, and he will literally tell you in depth and talk to you step by step of why he understands where you guys are coming from and why he feels, the way he does about the situations.
Mm-hmm.
And we've talked about George Floyd. I've always talked about, police brutality, and especially at my job where I go to, I found out, my mental health was being very um uh has been hit really bad with my job, and I've cried. I broke down and cried at work multiple times,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, I can't deal with this anymore. Like, it came to the point that, like, we want to grow a family. I told him, like, if you want another child from me, we will have to move. And I gave him that ultimatum. If we stay here, you ain't getting no more kids. And
Mm-hmm. Does he?
that's not, he wants two more.
Well, my audience said earlier, they said they support the move. They said you got to get out of the out of the small town with the lit Walmart.
With the Walmart, yes. My parents support the move. Even my couple of my business friends, and they're white, and I've told them about everything that I've actually talked to you about, and they're like, "You
Mm-hmm.
need to move." They're like, "Why are you still at your job? Why are you here still?" I was like, "It's it's what pays my bills. It's the best paying job in this small town right now." But yeah, that question, it don't cause us any tension. Really, it actually educates him more to understand my feelings a little bit better. It ain't always, he ain't gonna completely understand. Again, like I
Mm-hmm.
said, I'm Black. He like, I can see if a white person just rolled their eyes the wrong way to me, I know
Mm-hmm.
why. Or if they do a certain gesture, I know why. But when a person that's white see that gesture, or they're just rolling their eyes, they're not going to really understand why they're doing that. They're just rolling their eyes, or they're just walking away. What are they doing? Whereas me,
Right.
I know why they're doing it, and I can feel it. So no
Right.
matter what, he understands. We'll talk about it, but at the end of the day, no matter what, he won't deeply, deeply, truly, truly understand what I go through.
Yeah. Okay. So look, this is what I want to do.
All
Um,
right.
One of my audience members wants to come on here.
Okay.
I still definitely want to get into the living rural, right?
Yeah.
So for the people who are watching, I know y'all might not like this, but y'all gonna have to deal with it for the time being. This episode have two different parts. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start off from this one. This is the end of part one, and we're gonna pick it back up for part two momentarily. So if you're enjoying the conversation, come right back for the live. Monty P, I'm gonna get you in on the other one if it's okay with Mary. That's okay with you?
Absolutely. Let's go.
All right, cool. So I'm gonna sign off and come right back. All right.
All right.
All right. Peace.
Peace.